Hello everyone, this is Lorenzo from Meetecho. Since we prepared a new version of the Meetecho interface, we thought it might be a good idea to record an updated tutorial that shares could refer to. In fact, while you probably won't have any particular issue finding familiar features that you're used to, some things have indeed changed a bit, and so it makes sense to provide guidance for chairs in that regard. Notice that this presentation only covers features related to how to chair a meeting. So, for an overview on how to use the regular meeting participation functionality, please refer to the other tutorial we made available. So, without further ado, Meetecho will automatically recognize whether or not you are the chair of this working group, and you can double check that by going to the participants list and verifying that your role is set correctly. Notice that if you see that your role is delegate, that works as well, because those have the same privileges in Meetecho sessions. As soon as you join your session, it's a good idea to start sending something right away. Most importantly, for instance, your preloaded slides. So just head to select your slide, no need for moderation here. Just select your chair slides and start sharing them. This will give the audience a feeling that they're actually in the right place. And of course, it's important not to send your audio and video if you're locally in the room, because those will already be captured by us. Only unmute those local devices if you're sharing remotely, which means that we will not be capturing your own audio and video from the room. And of course, make sure to remember to disable those streams whenever it's somebody else's turn to present. We automatically import those slides from the data tracker 15 minutes before the session starts, which means that you should be able to find all slides whenever you go looking for one. If for any reason one is not available, maybe because it was uploaded after those 15 minutes, you can actually import them yourself. So just go there, select admin, and then from there, upload manage slides. This will basically present you with an overview of what is available from the perspective of the Meetecho interface on the data tracker and what slide decks are actually available and ready to be shared. So in case you notice there is any desync there, maybe not all slides are available on the data tracker, you can just click the refresh button over there, which will pull a refreshed list of those presentations. And then from there you can choose import this deck for any slide that is actually missing in the decks ready to be shared section over there. And this will make it available for sharing to all other participants from that moment later on. And in case you want to actually add any slide that is not available on the data tracker, you can use the upload slides functionality to import it manually instead and have it converted. When you open one of the available preloaded presentations, you'll become the one in control of it, which means that you'll be able to preview them, advance slides, and so on. But there are times where you may actually want to pass this control to somebody else, and you can do that from the participants list, clicking on their avatar and then choosing Pass Slide Controls. And this basically will relinquish control to them instead, which means that the controls will appear to them and they'll be able to advance slides and so on. And of course, at any moment, you are free as a chair to stop the current presentation, clicking the button over there, or also take back the slide controls so that you can go back into advancing them yourselves or maybe pass the controls to a different participant in the room. An important part of chairing a Meetecho session is of course in moderating the different requests that will come in, starting from the mic queue. Local and remote participants will ask for your permission to speak, and you will just need to say whether or not they are allowed to speak, because this part is unmoderated. In this specific instance, a remote participant asked to speak, and so they are now sharing their audio and video with the room. During the context of a session, participants will also ask for your permission to start a presentation, whether it is by sharing their slide or sharing their screen, and in this case this is indeed a request that you need to act upon. And so in this case you'll be able to check whether or not you want to accept the request or deny it instead. In this case, let's grant this user permission to speak, and which means that in a minute we'll see their presentation being shared with the room as well. And at any moment you can actually revoke this permission by just hovering over the slide and clicking on the related button to make it happen. If the mic line is getting too long or you want the discussion to stop there, you can actually lock the queue, which will prevent anyone else from getting in the mic line until you unlock the queue again. You can also at any time remove people from the queue instead by just hovering them and removing them from the queue using the related button. And finally, in case you want to mute remote participants, all you need to do is hover over their related box and then click the related buttons to stop, for instance, them sending their video, or mute their audio as well by clicking the mic icon instead. If you want to make sure that you'll stay within the timeline of your agenda, you can enforce a timer for each of the presentations that will actually take place. And starting a timer is quite easy. You just specify how long the specific presentation should last, and then you start a timer that will be displayed both in the local room and to remote attendees as well. And this will help the remote presenter or the local presenter figure out how much time they actually have to finish their presentation. And once the timer is started, you can choose whether you want to terminate it or to cancel it entirely. Terminating a timer will basically force an interruption of the session right away, which means that a time is over will be displayed immediately rather than at the end. Whenever you want to get the feel of the room on any specific topic, you can use the show events tool. And using the show events functionality is actually quite simple. So first of all, you just need to insert the title, which is basically the question that you will be asking the room. In this case, we are asking if we should adopt this draft, for instance. And then once you start it, every participant in the room will be able to participate anonymously. And this question will remain up and running up until you terminate the show event session. And as feedback starts coming in, you'll be able to monitor the evolution of the question in real time. So in this case, for instance, we see that somebody just said they don't think we should adopt this draft. But as a chair, we're also allowed to participate in this question ourselves. So in this case, we can add our own opinion as well. And eventually, once we're comfortable with the results, we can just terminate the session and archive it instead. And as you can see, once a show event session is completed, it will actually be displayed along other questions that we may have asked during the context of this working group session. And that's all. I hope this was a clear enough overview of how the new UI for chairing meetings works. We've taken in great consideration the feedback we received, and so we hope this guide will help you manage your meeting more efficiently. For more information, please refer to the documentation as well, which is available on the meeting website. Enjoy your meeting.